Okay, once again, welcome to Main Street in Littleton for the 28th Annual Fall Foliage Meet Parade, sponsored by the Littleton Lions. And here we go. The show will be tomorrow at the field. Today is a kickoff parade. I'm John Manker, glad to be here to tell you about these cars that are going to be in the parade today. I also like to introduce a few other people here. Bob O'Connor on the camera, Doug Cross assisting me. Brian Maltus is one of our co-chairmen. Bill Ellingwood up here also taking the numbers, reading the cars and taking the numbers. Sue and Dave Langan also helping here with the scoring. And we'll be going underway in just a few minutes. This is the kickoff. We're supposed to have a parade lining up at 1 o'clock today to come down Main Street. After the parade, the cars will assemble back down on the Sears Field where the show will be tomorrow, and they'll take a 40-mile foliage tour about 2:15. Also, tomorrow morning, don't forget, at Sears Field, a show all day long, starting off at 8 a.m. to 10 for the annual Lions Pancake Breakfast and registration for the late coming cars. We have over 100 cars already registered today. They will be in the parade. And judging will be from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. tomorrow afternoon, and the awards presentations will be at 2:30 p.m. So we hope you all come down to the field tomorrow. We'll give you a brief look at the cars during the parade. We have some fantastic antique and classic cars and street rods in the parade today. And they'll be coming down Main Street in just a few minutes. And it's nice to see the street in such good shape. We've been wondering what it's going to be like for this parade today, and they've done a magnificent job on Littleton Main Street, and just about ready to wrap it up, I believe. Nice to be here. Almost all of the buildings that I'm looking at are on the historic register, I'm sure. You have a wonderful town. Hope you're proud of it. And I'm glad to see that you saved the Opera Block. I read about Littleton in the papers and keep track of what you're doing here. So I'm glad you saved your Opera Block, and it's a great town. Littleton is a town on the move. The parade is in sight, led by a Littleton cruiser. Paul Smith is the police chief here. Perhaps here, one of his men leading the parade. Welcome everyone to the 28th Annual Antique and Classic Automobile Parade, kicking off the 28th Annual Lions Festival and Antique Car Show. Glad to have you all here today, and the parade coming down right now. We'll give you a brief description of all the automobiles. Be sure to come down to the field tomorrow to take a look at all of them. Beautiful, beautiful cars. We have antiques, classics, and street rods in the parade today. Bill Ellingwood out on the street now. He will greet the drivers and take the numbers from their windshield. They ought to be in pretty good order, so we can tell you who is who.
Take that one back and lay it down.
Somewhere where I can reach it. Yeah, that's right there. Okay, this year Dave Ash is the King Lion, and he is leading the parade in his 74 Plymouth Scamp B, and he'll be down here in just a minute with all the rest of the automobiles. We have over 100 cars registered. A great turnout this year. And here comes King Lion, Dave Ash, down to be greeted by Bill Ellingwood. Okay, Bill is reading Dave Ash right now. And the next car is Ray Burton from Bath with his Oldsmobile Delta 88, and Ray has brought a lot of cars and people to our parade this year. Here's Ray in the Oldsmobile, greeting everyone. Nice to see you here, Ray, a great supporter of all of our car shows and parades.
Thank you.
Next car is Patrick Horrocks with the Electra Buick. This is a four-door hardtop Electra Buick going by now. Next car is a 1960 Plymouth Savoy, also one of Ray Burton's guests. Next car up, this nice tan car is a 1960 Buick Invicta, four-door sedan. And now we have a 69 Cadillac DeVille convertible.
Burton's cars again.
Also in Ray Burton's group is the last car of Ray Burton's group, a 72 Chrysler New Yorker, coming up right now, four-door hardtop. And now Phil Cross from right here in Littleton with his 49 Dodge Chrysler Town and Country. I think Phil is the instigator of this show about 28 years ago. Let's give Phil a big hand for all he's done. He's the one that got this thing started, I know. Now car number 3 is a Model A Ford made in 1929, owned by Lester Hibbard from Northwood, New Hampshire. A nice deluxe 29 Ford Roadster. Very nice, got a lot of accessories, double side mounts, and the whole works. Now the next car is a 1930 Model A, Fred Storella from Bethlehem. Nice little 5-window coupe. And here is one of our brass cars. This is a Model T Ford made in 1912 from Bow, New Hampshire. Dave and Penny Valari own this one from way down in Bow. That's a beautiful, beautiful brass Model T. Now here's Richard Wallerford with a 1930 Roadster Deluxe Model A. Now his street rod, number 11, is George Calucci from Lisbon with a 37 Buick 350 motor, 350 horsepower. A nice Buick street rod. Oh, that horn is not original to the car, but it's an attention getter. Now we have number 12, 86 Olds Cutlass, owned by Mike and Joel Mooney from right here in Littleton. Coming up next, a Buick, made in 1963, Tony Danapoli, and they're from way down in Goffstown, New Hampshire. We have a lot of people come from way down in southern New Hampshire to this meet, and they're from Goffstown with this nice Buick. Larry Benson with a 77 Nova Chevy now. And here comes a nice, quiet running, oh, here we go, he's running, 55 Chevy, Richard Crumples from Mass. Well, yeah, we have quite a few people from Massachusetts in our parade today and in our show tomorrow. Hey, thank you for coming. And here's Steve Caracchio from Chelmsford, Mass. with a 65 Chevy Impala 2-door hardtop. Now Tammy O'Brien from Moultonboro, New Hampshire with an 88 Mustang GT. And a Volkswagen coming up next. From right here in Littleton, Roger Petit. It's a 1973 Super Beetle. And another Volkswagen, Steve Gordon, 72 VW Super Beetle, from right here in Littleton. And now a 1955 Ford Victoria, very, very colorful, Dave and Kathy Eaton from Melvin Village, New Hampshire. Melvin Village has quite a antique car group down there. Here's George Tatlin from Bath with a 1970 Chevelle SS, also a 2-door hardtop, very popular model. Beautiful, beautiful paint job on this car. And now look at this Brian Taylor from North Haverhill, 79. Nice paint job on this one too. Coming up next, 72 Dodge Demon, owned by Lloyd Shackett from over in Stowe, where we have one of our big car shows every year. And now Eric Adams, also from Stowe, with a 64 Corvette. Nice to see you people from Stowe. Come over here. We love to come to Stowe. And here is a 67 Camaro, Michael Snyder from Montgomery, Vermont. This car being greeted by Bill Ellingwood is a 67 Ford Mustang owned by Tracy Snyder from Richford, Vermont, way up on the Canadian border. Now coming up next, Pontiac GTO 68 from Berkshire, Vermont. Laurie Tremblay driving this one. And here's a rare car, and this man has a lot of Hupmobiles. This is his 1936 Hupmobile. Chuck Moore comes up from New Hampton, New Hampshire. Take a look at this car, a Hupmobile. The only Hupmobiles you'll see are the ones he owns, I believe. They're very rare these days. Now Ron Thomas from Haverhill, Mass. brings us a 1955 Ford Fairlane Town Sedan. And here is a 1940 Plymouth Deluxe from right here in Littleton. Stella and Dave Burrington own this one. And Butch Hanson coming up next with his 1968 Mercury Cougar XR7 from Haverhill. Bonnie riding with him. Butch and Bonnie Hanson, they work on a lot of our car shows too. Nice to see you here. Now we have a street rod, 29 Ford Model A, owned by Jim Evans from Shelburne. Nice street rod, that's a beauty. Check out the motor in this one, that is so nice. Here's a 67 Chevy Camaro RS owned by Kevin and Louise Jordan from Groveton. Very nice one. Nice license plate, wild on his license plate. That tells the whole story. And now a 59 Ford Galaxy four-door hardtop. Ken and Louise Jordan from Whitefield. And here is a rare car also, a 60 Studebaker Lark. Jeff and Brenda Fendley from Belmont, New Hampshire. Larks are very rare these days, and convertibles are really great to have. Now we have a 71 Chevy C10 pickup from Victory, Vermont, Rick Anderson. Here is a 1955 Ford Fairlane Town Sedan from East Concord, Vermont, owned by Wesley Welcome. Nice four-door sedan. Now look at this one. This is a 63 Ford O'Connelline owned by Luther Deutsch from Whitefield, and it is a copy of the Scooby-Doo car. An exact copy. He has some of the originals inside, and the inside is full of stuffed animals. Y'all take a look at that one when he has the door open. 68 Chevy Chevelle coming up next at SS 396. Ken Hudson from down in Lisbon. Jim Rebuff from Dighton, Mass. with a 69 AMX 390. Dan Tucker from Bethlehem with a Vega, Chevy Cosworth Vega, made in 1975. Probably the last one left in the world, I think. It's really great that he kept that car and preserves it. Here's a Mustang Shelby GT. It's a 2008, owned by John Stepson from Bethlehem. He gave up his two Triumphs he had and got himself a Mustang. Now a nice Packard. Look at this, a 1948 Packard, custom made, owned by John Austin from Plainfield. Boy, now there's a real luxurious automobile. What a beauty. Here's a 71 Plymouth Roadrunner from Waterford, Vermont. Willie Stevens owns this one. And now Bill Ellingwood is greeting David Friedman from Piermont with a 68 Pontiac Firebird. Next car up, another Pontiac, a 77 Grand Prix, owned by Mark Bartlett from right here in Middleton. This is last year's Best of Show, right?
Yep.
Here, hold it.
Choice.
Huh?
People's choice.
Oh, this car won People's Choice last year, and it's pictured on our brochure. John Hagan from Littleton with his 1966 Chevy C10, People's Choice winner last year. John Gray from Littleton with a 55 F100 Ford pickup. George Clough from Guilford with a 57 Ford Fairlane 500. Beautiful, beautiful black paint job on this car. I noticed it earlier today. So nice, yeah, very nice. Now another street rod, a 31 Ford replica owned by Mike Shea from Spencer, Mass. That is a real attractive little street rod. From Biddeford, Maine now. From Biddeford, Maine, John and Rita Hall with their 65 Mercury Caliente. Coming up next, Auto 77 Chevy. Number 56 coming up next. James Morris McDowell from Groveton with his 56 Ford Victoria. This is Jim with his Victoria. He also owns some other Model A and other cars. Now here comes his wife with their 77 Chevy Caprice convertible. This is Shirley, and they're from Groveton. Now we have a Mustang Cobra. Maurice Deming from Whitefield, 78 Mustang Cobra. And now Dan Newell from Colchester, Vermont, 1990 Camaro RS.
I can't remember Chester's name.
And here comes a beautiful 41 Chevrolet
Chester
Deluxe. Chester from St. Albans, Vermont. Boy, a beautiful, beautiful car. They come all the way down from St. Albans, and that is such a nice road car. Real nice one to own. Now we have a, no, that's the next thing.
61?
We have a Plymouth coming up next, and
61.
I don't know, I haven't seen 61.
It's the red car.
Okay, it's a nice Plymouth. We've kind of dropped the card on that one. Coming up next is a 55 Ford Country Station Wagon owned by Carol Bean. Okay, that Plymouth was Father Ray Ball from Lancaster with a 58 Plymouth Belvedere. Nice to have you here. Now a beautiful Mercury. Bill and Nikki McCrae from Concord with their 50 Mercury Sports Sedan. They can bring a half a dozen beautiful cars. This is the one they brought today. Beautiful, beautiful Mercury. Now, Lothar and Elaine Reba from Monroe, they've got a 75 Olds Delta Royal convertible now. Tim Assaf from Morgan, Vermont, a 1965 Chevy Impala. Out here in front of us right now. And now a 68 Camaro will be our next car. Tim Assaf also from Morgan. Nice Camaro convertible. Here's another local car, Basil Colpitz, with his 57 Chevy 210. Also another Basil Colpitz car coming up, an 82 Chevy Custom pickup coming up next. And from Derby, Vermont, a 34 Ford three-window coupe, Michael and Pauline. This one isn't this sharp? Boy, that's an outstanding automobile. Nice street rod, very enjoyable. Mike Spaulding coming up next from Littleton, 70 Pontiac Firebird. And Mike Spaulding bringing another car to us, following the 70 Chevelle Super Sport. Here's a 1968 Mustang GTCS from North Hatley, Quebec. Alvin and Beverly Sharman from up in Quebec. Nice to have you here. Kevin Douillet from Barrie, 68 Buick Sport Wagon. Nice big wagon. They don't build them like that anymore. Now number 75 coming up. Terry and Bev Hines from Whitefield, and this is their 75 Plymouth Scamp, and they're the second owner of this automobile. From Bedford, we have a 1965 Chevy pickup C10, driven by and owned by Phil Hammer. He's got his initials and the year of the car on his plate. Very nice. And here's a 1983 Chevy El Camino pickup, owned by Alan and Wendy Reed from Derry. These are very collectible now. Now here's an 83 Chevy Camaro Z28. Tracy and Jim McCandis from Derry also. And here's a Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT owned by Travis Dickerson, right here in Littleton. Mark Lafayette from Burlington with their 66 Sunbeam Tiger. Don't see many of these anymore either. That's a nice little convertible, a Sunbeam, and that would have a Ford V8 engine in it, I'm sure. Steve Height from Littleton, 69 327 Camaro. Arthur Bort from Lisbon, a Pontiac Bonneville convertible made in 1966. Beautiful big convertible. Number 84 is Sean O'Donnell from Newbury, Vermont with a XJ12 Jag made in 1988. And here is a 67 Olds Cutlass Supreme. David Keisha from Southport, Connecticut. Jeff Rennell from Littleton, 68 Ford Mustang. John and Julie Ellsworth from Littleton, 68 Buick Riviera. Nice to have all of the local people put their cars in the parade. And here's a car from Boston, New Hampshire, I believe. Todd Bircher with a 67 Mustang. Now here's an 86 Porsche 944, David Kinney from right here in Littleton. Got a big Ford Bronco coming up now, made in 1979, owned by the original owners, Bob Brusso, and it was purchased over in St. Johnsbury in 1979. They've owned that for 30 years, right? Beautiful. Here's a 1950 Plymouth Special Deluxe, John and Lisa Stroker, local people also. And here's a 68 Pontiac Firebird, Dylan Chase from right here, local. And Frank Profido coming up, of course, from Littleton with a 68 400 Firebird convertible. We can't have a parade without a Profido car in it. Julie Profido coming up now with a 79 Trans Am. Bill Bitus from Corinth, 70 GS Stage 1 convertible, a Buick. Jimmy Olson from Randolph, New Hampshire, a Pontiac Grandville, 1974, nice big convertible. And here's a 1959 rare automobile these days, Rambler, cross country, Keith Dempster from Randolph. You won't see many of those around anymore. That's a nice Rambler. Look at all the design on that. They really went way out with the styling of those cars. Now a Volkswagen from Waterbury, Vermont, Don and Jack Consolti and Nigel the dog. It's a 77 Volkswagen Beetle. And Gene Napoleon from Waterbury Center with a 76 Ford Elite. Gene brings us a lot of nice cars and works hard on our Stowe Car Show. Gene and Lucille. Lucille's with him today too. Dennis Hode from Lancaster, 1926 Model T. Isn't that nice? Real fun car. Gary Sprague with a 78 Dodge Little Red Express truck. And we have gone over 100 cars and we still have a few more to go. Number 103, some of these last ones didn't get registered, but this is Mark with an 87 Vet. And here's Aaron Patnaud with a 79 Mustang. I think he's from the Lakes region. I got it. And here's Jennifer with an 87 Mustang. I think she's from down the Lakes region too. And here is a 66 Corvette, Roy Hazlitt and friend. We don't have the name. Hi, Roy. And here is the last cruiser finishing the parade. We had over 100 cars. Once again, I'm John Manker, thanking you all for coming. Hope you enjoyed the parade. Feel free to come down to the show tomorrow. Look at all these cars and many more that will be here on scene for your enjoyment, and we'll have a lot of fun down at the field tomorrow. And one more time, this was the 28th annual. We'll see you back here next year for number 29, sponsored by the Lisbon Lions. And have a great day, everyone.